Much more comfortable ride than the Gladiator. It's much smoother. And with this being the Sport Explorer, it has the twin turbo in it. Family trip in the wife's Explorer. She has a 2017 Ford Explorer Sport, so it's got the little twin turbo EcoBoost in it, which actually makes for a pretty peppy engine if you're not familiar with them. But those two little turbos, they definitely will get you going, whether it's from a slow go or highway speeds. If you give it gas, this thing's gonna go. So we're gonna take it up to Jeff City. We're gonna do a state capitol tour, and then we're also gonna slip in a penitentiary tour. Missouri had a penitentiary that was around for 168 years before the Civil War, and it ended up closing in early 2000s. So a lot of history there, so it's something neat for the family to do, and we'll give this thing a run. Skies are pretty clear, roads are pretty open. This is more of a country way of getting there. Averaging about 75 miles an hour. It says 78 right now, but I was 75. Maybe I'm excited because of the trip, so just speeding up a little bit. The roads are pretty clear. Got the fam with me on this trip. There's my wife looking out the window. There's my son playing on his phone. But yeah, family trip to the Capitol, and then do a state penitentiary tour in addition to the Capitol tour. We're getting closer to the Capitol, so we'll be able to get our tour rolling here shortly.
They painted the seal and it was closed for about 6 months.
Huh.
One other thing about this picture that's there's so many interesting things, I can't tell you them all. But one of the things that I find real interesting is the fact that the artist claimed that every face in this painting was a real person. Wow. We know who some of them are. The guy, the kid eating a sandwich was his nephew. The guy in the bailiff's chair was a sheriff down in Greene County. The judge was a real judge, I think from Cole County, but he was a real judge.
Couple of quick shots from inside the Capitol, as well as our prison tour and gas chamber, cells. Old car my wife found while we were hiking by the Lewis and Clark Trail. We've made the successful round trip up to Jeff City, back to Kansas City for the day. Went and saw the penitentiary, got the tour there, went and did the state capitol, got the tour there. So it was a good time with the family, got something to eat, and then we came back home. But let's see how the car did. We're almost out of gas. We had pretty much a full tank when we left, and the airbag light came on, and my wife said that this check engine light's been on already, so we'll have to check and see what's going on there. But let's see what kind of numbers we ran. Distance to empty, 27. That's pretty funny. Let's see here. I need to go out. I need to go down a trip. So 285 miles, averaging literally 20 miles per gallon. So yeah, that's not too bad. You know, I'm doing 75, 80 the whole way, unless I was like regulated by some like small towns. Overall, I mean, it's again a much more comfortable ride than the Gladiator. It's much smoother. And with this being the Sport Explorer, it has the twin turbo in it. So it gives it a little bit more pep on the highway when you want to pass somebody or get scooting quick. Currently trying to decide what project I want to work on next. Is it the RX-7 and tackling the interior, where I'm going to replace the interior of the seats and the carpet, which is really going to make this car look completely different? Or will I be needing to put a new carburetor into the CJ7? Currently torn on if I should pull the carburetor and replace it or rebuild it. I've never rebuilt a carburetor before, so it kind of is outside of my wheelhouse and makes me a little nervous, but you know, it is something I would be interested in tackling. I just don't know if that's something I want to do now or down the road. I'm gonna replace it and not rebuild that carburetor. The question is, do I want to go with a Weber or like a factory replacement like what I have in there now, which is a 2-barrel, real basic, nothing fancy. I think they're like 300 CFM. Or do I want to go with something more performance-based like a Holley, which doesn't require a lot of maintenance or adjustments, but would also require me changing out the intake. So it's going to add more costs, bump it up to a 4-barrel, more CFM, more power. My cheap side says just do a factory replacement and it's good. Since I just tool around town now in the CJ7 and I don't actually do any kind of legitimate off-roading. Both projects are needing to be done. It's just a question of which one to do first. In the CJ7, obviously having a properly functioning carburetor is important. Now, I'm not having any kind of performance issues, but I am seeing a little bit of leakage or like a wet body on the carb, which obviously is concerning. But making sure that I get the RX-7 project done is also important so that I can catch the timing of the season, as well as get this car out of the garage, sold. That's my plan, finish it up, get it sold. Then I can start doing some other things after I get this completely taken care of. So if we're going with my cheap side, it says do the RX-7 first. One, I already have everything I need. I have all of the seat skins, which I've ordered and have already in the garage. I have the carpet, which I have ordered and I already have here in the garage. So realistically, I don't have to invest any more money into those two items of the project because they're already here and paid for. So realistically, getting that done, but then again, I want to drive the Jeep more often and I don't always feel super comfortable with the carburetor in the state that it is. It's always in the back of my mind, hey, when is it gonna be an issue and it's gonna leak too much and who knows if a fire starts. Yes, these are problems, pervasive thoughts, things like that. But realistically, getting this running, well, not running, getting this completely finished is really the big project that I need to be tackling. The seats covers are right here. So these are actually very nice. They came out a lot better than what I was expecting. Everything was made to order and those are the headrests, but everything is in here that I need. So those are the seats and those will definitely make a huge difference compared to what's going on in here right now, where they're very worn and beat up and aged and just, you're looking at, 43 years worth of wear and tear on those seats. Carpets are up here too. Again, they're already cut, they're already made, everything's already here in the garage. This is a weather stripping kit that I have for the doors. But yes, all of those are here and ready to rock and roll. I haven't been underneath the CJ7 in a bit, so I thought I'd put it up in the air and just do a quick visual inspection underneath. One of the first things I noticed was that I had a busted hose clamp. I don't really know how that broke, but it sure did. Here is where it belongs. It goes on the filler neck. The hose connects to the filler for the fuel tank. Looking through the ones that I have, and I don't have any that are that big. So that's one I'll have to pick up at the store later this week. For the most part, things under here look as I would have expected. A little wet, but overall pretty clean. While I was under here, I went ahead and just checked the tolerances on some of the U-joint shackles, just to make sure everything was tight and as it needs to be. And I did a little bit of wiping down while I was under here also. Just to keep everything clean until I'm able to replace all these gaskets. Here is a little concerning, so this is definitely something I want to get to. When I did the restoration, I put a different frame on this Jeep, on the CJ7, but I can see over the past 20 years, a little bit of rust starting here at the seams. So if I get that cleaned up, that should help extend the life of this frame by a lot. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Rob's Garage, where we do a road trip in the Explorer and get an idea what it's like on the highway. Definitely gets a lot better MPGs than the Gladiator did last time, as well as a much smoother ride and more comfortable seats. Also, some of the projects that are coming up with the CJ7 as well as the RX7. So it's just a matter of which one am I going to tackle first before I get going with anything else. If you would, hit that like button. If you got a question or comment, definitely feel free to answer and I'll be happy to get back to you. Until next time.